सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज.
The miseries of material existence and the most hopeless conditions of life is the best possible opportunity to turn to God.
You're listening to Bare Knuckle Bhakti Shorties on the Bhakti Recovery Podcast with Jiva G, coming at you every Monday with a little spiritual something. Hey, Haribol, everybody. Good morning, for me at least. You know, last week we talked about the gap, I believe it was last week, between what we know and how we live. I just finished a mini UK tour. Some really nice, wonderful people. Shout out to them. A shout out to those in Weston-super-Mare. A shout out to those in Bath. And a shout out to those in Birmingham. So I did a few workshops just on this topic. And that topic lies a plethora of things to look at. Oh, joy. And, you know, right now I'm what's on the plate? What's on the plate in that gap is understanding what it really means to take responsibility, for me, to take responsibility for my own feelings, actions, and thoughts, actually. And so that's a very huge topic. I'm going to pick that apart now. Sometimes in taking responsibility, you might think that that's radical responsibility, relying on the self, relying on God and ourselves. But that's not always the case. The case is sometimes that taking responsibility is asking for help. When we're responsible for our own well-being, sometimes there are areas or parts of ourselves that need help, that really need help. And just because, and I'm talking from my own experience, just because I've asked for help doesn't mean I'm willing, or no, not willing, that I'm capable of letting go of the control over whatever it is and letting somebody else direct. This has always been a big problem for me. It's a trust issue. It's a trusting that maybe somebody else knows better than I do about myself. And that's a very, very slippery slope. Because there are people who aren't trustworthy. This is just fact. Or who will misdirect. There are people who will have, you know, we bring our own, and this is not even like with malicious intent. There are people who just bring their own conditionings in the situation. We have to understand that and use discernment. But for me, what I've seen is that discernment can disguise itself as ultimate control. So finding that sweet spot, that's also lives in that gap. Finding that sweet spot of, I'm going to just assume that this person, being that we have let's say a basic trust, perhaps not a complete trust, but a basic trust. We can start there. And understanding that maybe I'll just try this. Just having that understanding, okay, I'm going to inch my way into this. This is assuming that I've asked someone for direction. I've asked someone for guidance. I've asked someone for support. I need to also understand and look at what my needs are. I'm unraveling this. I'm really hoping you guys are following me. Even to look at those needs and the expectations on somebody. There's a lot of shame for me. And I'm just sharing my experience, just sharing my feelings at the moment. The expectation on what I expect how someone should support me, how much they should support me, what kind of feeling I should get when I feel supported. And then it starts to become more detailed. And then what happens is I get disappointed because that person had not met up to my expectations, how I feel someone should be supporting me. And there we have that vicious circle. And then we recoil and get into that, okay, it's just me. There is no one coming to save me. So, and this is compartmentalizing, people. This is not an overall attitude or an overall thought, something that is all over my life, but there are certain areas and compartments of my life where that where that losing of the control is a very dangerous feeling place. And that's what we want to look at. That's what I want to look at right now. It's important. I have to be thorough. And not obsessed, but thorough. There's a time to pick that apart and a time to let go of that. Time to enjoy life on life's terms. Perhaps sometimes with an attitude of gratitude, in conscious contact with Krishna. Sort of letting things flow. And then there's a time of picking things apart in order for me to be able to do that on a level that is beneficial to myself, that is beneficial to others, and most importantly, beneficial to my relationship with Krishna. Because if that's convoluted, which it will be because I'm conditioned, it's not going to be as it is. It's going to be as I'm conditioned. And for those who don't know that verbiage, that language, as it is the Bhagavad Gita delivered by Krishna through Prabhupada. And it's called the Bhagavad Gita as it is. It's not called as I see it or as I feel it or as I interpret it. It's called as it is. So let's just assume that there is as it is. And sorry, I'm just running in front of these people. I don't like, it's distracting. These are tricky things, my friends, and sometimes deeply painful. I've been trusting a particular person in unfolding some areas in my life where there's a lot of fear and a lot of immaturity, fear-based immaturity. And I'm saying that with absolute soberness. It's so important to have that. I don't know what's going to happen. This is a new person to me. He's a senior devotee. I don't even like these terminologies, but whatever. He's someone who's been around a long time. And he's not a typical type of devotee in one way. In another ways, he's very, very traditional. But I'm just sort of, I got my feet in the water with him. And it's interesting because I fall into these deep areas or compartments of some sort of fear, control, and then I'm out, so I'm okay. But having a safe space for that has been till now, and it's only the beginning, assuming that this is going to be a continuum of a friendship, feeling safe in a space where I can do that. I have yet to experience. So it's very interesting. In this compartment, this closet that I found, remember I was talking about the closets in the house, this closet that I found, woo, that's a messy one. It's a scary one. There's so much fear there. And I'm really grateful to have this platform just to share it. There's two reasons why it's the best thing to do for me, and maybe even for you, is that Yes, I have 28 years clean and sober. Yes, I've been an aspiring devotee for the last 10 years. Yes, I do the work. And the work is never done. There's always something. And I don't mean it like, oh, there's always something with this heavy thing. No, but there's always an opportunity. There's always some opportunity to go higher. And however that looks for everybody. You know, sometimes when I say things like this, I get this thought in my head like, oh, people are going to think like what am I doing now? Forget what people think, but what am I doing now? Am I just grappling with something that's never going to be solved anyway? Should I just bury it? Should I just chant it away? Shouldn't I just do the right thing, the next right thing? Yes, you should. Yes, I should. However, I do have to look at these things because they'll bite me in the ass at some point. I'm living that right now. It wasn't by design, not consciously at least. Could have been my subconscious by design, hiding that closet from my sight. But I just know in the past that untangling, detangling, uncovering those things have been completely beneficial and has freed me of so many afflictions of the mind, of the emotions, of the self, of the false self. You know, we say we're not the body, we're not the mind. Why bother? Why should we even bother with the body and the mind if that's not what we are? It's a tool. It's a tool to learn that. And I, personally, have experienced it's like grappling. It's like wrestling. Just look at classic wrestling. I don't mean like WFC. I mean like classic wrestling. It's the classic wrestling of the selves. And it's this forever ongoing wrestle. Wrestling stops when one or the other wins. Wrestling stops when we surrender. And I want to be like so honest about that. I'm not sure. I mean, I always talk about this. Surrendering is compartmental, is it not? We surrender over one thing, but maybe not the other. Sorry, I'm crossing the street if it's loud. I'm not in the woods anymore, my friends. However, it is spring here and it's super beautiful, so it makes everything a little more friendly in the city. Compartments. So anyway, walking through the door of that closet, learning how to trust a new person, has been both super scary and super beneficial. And I have to tell myself, even in the end, even if this person lets me down completely, I have to understand that actually, and this is, so I want to say this, actually it's my responsibility through my actions, my expectations, through my thoughts, through my mind. And I can't, and one is not separate from the other. I have to go through this experience in order to trust. And whether that trust is, okay, he broke my trust, or I don't understand the space this person's holding, or whatever it might be. I have to have the intelligence to understand that ultimately, I'm responsible for how I feel about it, what I make of it, what I turn it into, how I utilize it. And that clarity is always a journey, especially for someone like me. When you look at my charts, most astrologers have had it done quite a few times. Well, not quite a few, but like 4 times. And they all kind of say the same thing. There's a lot of heavy karma in my life. And that's something where I say, okay. I mean, when I first heard it, I almost started crying and I felt so much shame. So much heavy karma in my life. Shame. What have you done? You're such a bad person. And it's like funny because now in Krishna consciousness, I realize we have past lives. So it's like shame not only from this life, but shame from all the past lives. Like, what did you do in your past life to have this karma here? But I don't have to see it that way. Sometimes it feels heavy and I feel it. But I don't have to see it that way. I can see it as a wonderful opportunity in this lifetime to get it right. And part of getting it right is just letting Krishna love me just for the way I am. understanding that it's not only about work. And that's the thing that I find hard to understand. I feel always that I have to work for any kind of love. Love is work. And while that's a true statement, it's also not. It is part and parcel of a true statement. Love is always there. And if I'm able to tap in to it, for me, by grappling and getting through my karmic reactions and my conditionings, by using that as a tool, I might be able to see that and experience it. Accept it. Accept that Krishna is all love all the time. And I am a conditioned being here in the age of Kali Yuga, smack dab in the middle of Maya, controlled by the three modes of material nature. It's like, sometimes I get this image of like, it's like all of a sudden I'm here and it's like, boom, the Bhagavad Gita falls in my hand, all this stuff, and some demigod is like, good luck, buddy. There you go. Here's your guide. And yeah, but it's wonderful and painful and beautiful and doable. With my work in Krishna's grace, almost anything is possible. You know, we've heard so many different theories about that. So many different, quote unquote opinions, even Shastric knowledge of what that means. Some, we hear that Lord Chaitanya says this is the best time to be born. It's the golden age. It's the golden age. Why does he say that? Because we have the holy names. We don't even have the holy names. We have all of these things that we're allowed to work with. All these tools in order to free ourselves from the eternal process. Well, not eternal, but maybe, of life and death. Birth and death. Birth, life, death. Birth, life, death. And with that knowledge and my karma and experience, I want to stop that. I really don't want to be here again. I really don't. There are so many things that I've quote unquote achieved, so many things that I've quote unquote loved and hated and done, everything, the whole spectrum. I think my main thing now is to do what I can to free myself from the bondage of the false self, thus ending this process of birth and death. Some might say that that's not 100% bhakti, because in 100% bhakti, our goal is to just be the servant of the servant forever, eternally. And that is a very beautiful aspiration. And there are parts of me that aspire for that too. And there are parts of me, and sometimes I feel that way. But not always. It's dynamic. My emotions are dynamic. Life is dynamic. How I see things and learn things and experience things are dynamic. It's never static. The Bhagavad Gita, as it is as a sanctified, bona fide scripture, the words are static in themselves, and what belongs in those words is very dynamic. Anyway, I don't want to get too esoteric on you guys. I think that's all for today. I'm not sure if I should go on. I could. Don't know if I want to, because I don't want to bore you. And I'm really hoping that you could get something from this experience that I'm sharing. Be fearless, my friends. Even if it hurts. You don't have to be fearless in your whole life, right now, all at once. Pick a scary topic in your life. Use your discernment and your common sense, which isn't so common these days, but I'm assuming. Pick somebody to trust and understand that probably that person will let you down in some way, but let go of that. And the funny thing is when I let go of that, I start to be able to take charge in a lot of ways. So I'm not going to mention this person. I don't know if he wants to be mentioned, but thank you. Thank you so much for being that for me, being that person for me. So important. And I will try to be that person for you, everybody. I mean, not everybody. I don't have capacity for everybody, but you know what I mean. Just try to do that for someone else. I wish you guys a wonderful week. I love you loads. Have a great 24 hours. And a huge Haribol Hare Krishna. Thanks for listening. I hope you liked the Monday Shorties. Don't forget to check out our full-length episodes on Thursdays. If you like what you heard, spread the word. Peace out.
सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज.
The miseries of material existence and the most hopeless conditions of life is the best possible opportunity to turn to God.